Hello, hello. Okay. Hello. I'm just making sure whether this all is working fine. Good. Good evening. I hope that you all are able to listen to me. At this moment, I can't see that the chat is not active, perhaps, and until and unless this chat is coming live, I would like to ask you people to just push that thumbs up button or like button so that I know that everything is going on well and we can start. Uh, I can see there are 15 people right now live, and the moment we uh, okay, just yeah, yes, please. Just press that like button so that I come to know that everything is working fine, everything is going on very well, and uh, okay, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. There is problem with this chat on this app. However, I can see you people started typing things. Since I think four people have started typing things. All right. Uh, Pradeep is already there. Supriya, good evening. And Shivanjali, good evening, Shivanjali. Shruti, and happy birthday, Shruti. It's your birthday. And good evening, Muskan. Uh, all right. So let us start. Uh, those who are new here and don't know me, Naneshwar, good evening. Uh, all right. Just if you are, we all are meeting first time. Just let me know who you are in the comments. Maybe Deepak Patil. Good evening, Deepak. Dost, yeah. Uh, Saini, Bhavani. I can say good evening, all of you. And so this is something you might be, there is kind of a noise which is going on. Uh, there is some machine going on. Prabhakar, good evening. And I really wanted to show you around my house, but I'll do that uh, after some time. Okay. Uh, Suhal, good evening. Aniket, good evening. Okay. So without any further ado, let's start with uh, this live presentation, and it's very much simple thing if you really want to. Okay, just let me know all of you. There are 25 people right now. I can see live, and just let me know that everything is perfect. Uh, is that you, Gajanan? Okay. Good evening. Just let me know through the comments that everything is perfect audio, and you can see me that is live stream video and audio, just let me know through the comments. So because there is no way I can get all the information checked. Savni, good evening. Just give me that confirmation so that we'll start without any further ado. Okay. Yes, sir. All okay. All right. Okay. First of all, let me tell you that I'm right now in a village and there is not very good internet connection here. There might be problem during this live streaming, but stay tuned. Uh, Sakhi, hello, good evening, and just stay tuned, and we'll be talking about all these things. And what I'm thinking is that each and every day, if today's this kind of a session works well, then from tomorrow onwards, we will be doing this every day. Uh, yeah, Madan Lal. Okay, thank you. So I get the confirmation that everything is working fine. Uh, yeah, right. All right. Okay. Uh, so maybe from tomorrow, since we all are at home and we know what is going on around us, and in order to avoid any kind of a panic in society, we need to stay at home. And I hope that all my students are staying home. They are not going outside anywhere either. So for a few right now, it's 5 minutes already, and I won't be checking now chat messages until and unless there is some question and answer. Uh, okay, so after maybe 5-10 minutes, we'll keep checking whether everything you want to ask me something or something like that. Otherwise, it's just kind of a distraction, and that's why I don't want to get distracted while talking about the things that we want to talk. So first of all, I would like to start with the very basic thing that learning any language in any be it first language Marathi. Most of the people who I can see are they have Marathi their first language, or maybe your Hindi, or many. There are several other regional languages, and that might be your first language. So my first question or my first thesis statement is that how do we learn first language? So when we learn first language, we never attended any classes, we never mugged up any vocabulary or anything like that. The only thing that we did uh, when we learned first language was to get in contact with the language. So that is the basic, or that is the gist of the entire thing, how to learn any language. And but today we are not only talking about learning a language, we also are talking about how sorry, how we all can make a kind of a difference, that just not knowing the language, but actually le- developing skills in that language is what we are going to talk about. So, how we as a student, or maybe I can see there are some teachers also who joined this live stream. So, how we all can develop our uh, skills in English, language skills. That's what the title says. So, I believe that you all already know that there are four skills. The first skill uh, is obviously listening skill. The second skill is speaking skill, and reading and writing. These are the four skills. If you want to learn any language in the world, there are four skills you need to master in that particular language, and that perhaps will help you. Uh, okay, that perhaps will help you to learn any language in the world. So that's the basic thing you need to keep in mind. The second thing that I would like to talk about is that we know that these are the four skills and all that, but how, as a student, or maybe as anybody who just graduated and want to go ahead with the other things as well. I mean, uh, okay, there are a few more comments. All right. Um, so this is kind of a distraction. That's why. But I just want to, because this comment box is not working. That's why I can't check it on laptop. That's why in between I'm checking in through the mobile. But uh, the important things that we are going to talk about today is that we know that these are the four skills that are going to help us in enhancing our language skills. But what are the ways through which we can enhance our language skills? That's what I'm going to share with you people today. So let's start with the first skill itself without any further ado, and that is listening. Listening is the first skill, and in one of the other videos, if you already have seen that video on my channel, and it was the first video on this channel, uh, spoken English, a simple magic. That's some kind of title it had. In that video also I discussed that if you want to learn any language, the first thing is listening, and how you can listen and what you can listen is the another thing. Because to be honest, in Indian educational system, if you are not convent educated or English medium educated like me, because I started learning A B C D when I was in fifth standard, and so my English was not very good in the beginning, and even when I was in college, like most of you people are right now, my English was pretty bad as a language. But it's because of the scenario, because of the conditions that we are living in, it happens. But what, as a student or anybody who wants to just improve their language, can do is use the things, maybe technology that we all have right now. This we all have the smartphone, and with the help of smartphone also we can make use of that smartphone, and uh, can really boost our learning style, learning process. uh, and the first thing I would like to talk about listening is that, I believe that uh, whenever I ask in any of the classes this simple question, that what is your favorite time pass or what are your hobbies, and the simple answer that I always get is okay. The simple answer to this question that I always get is that, listening to music and watching television are the hobbies of the, we can say that, common hobbies of the people. But at the same time, if we utilize those our hobbies to learn something, and that is very much possible. I have been doing this since many years, and I always keep listening to English music in English, for example, or coincidentally last year only, or maybe before that, couple of years ago, uh, uh, I started listening to podcasts. Before that, I was just listening to audiobooks, most of them, and I'm going to talk about that as well. So, what we all can do is to listen to music. So, maybe any of your favorite singer who sings in English, and English songs basically. So keep listening to those songs time and again. So most of the times, what happens is that, we don't pay attention, or maybe you are paying attention to the beats only. But try to listen to the songs and understand the meaning of song, English song I'm talking about. Also, try to capture all the words, not only just the rhythm of the song, but all the words of the song. And by doing this is a kind of a process, because see, a small child who learns a language, he listens first. And even in that first video also I talked about this, that, when we listen, just imagine for a second that 1.5 year old child, 1 year old child doesn't know any language in the world, not even a first language or second language or any language for that matter. And that child keeps listening to what family members are saying and relatives are saying, and that child tries to repeat some words. And just by repeating those words, for example, uh, pa or ma, whatever, like, these are the simple sounds that child tries to repeat those words. And after repeating these kind of words, that child learns some words. Child learns that learning words is the first step of a learning language. So try to listen to songs and try to sing learning language. So try to listen to songs and try to sing. And it's not only that, but watching movies. I still remember I started watching movies when I was doing my post graduation, and I can see that my some of my friends from my post graduation time are watching this live stream right now, and they could attest to it. The fact that I used to watch English movies at least three, four, or sometimes five movies in a single day. And because being student of literature, being teacher of literature, I'm always interested in different kind of stories, and movies are basically stories. And at the same time, it's not only about stories, it's not only about movies, but also we can learn language from it. And that is what I used to do. So I used to listen to songs and watch movies. While watching movies, you might have witnessed this number of times that what happens is that you just are looking at the screen, and either you are concentrating on the action which is going on the screen, or you are concentrating on the subtitles that are going on the screen, because mm, we get easily distracted, in simple words. So that is what basically happens when we start watching Hollywood movies. Or sometimes you might have observed this, or you might have witnessed this, that there is always this kind of a problem, that when you are watching a movie, you don't get the story of the movie because it's in English language. But see, each and every movie, the beauty of the movies is that it's visual medium, and if you really concentrate on the stories and the language, you will get it. So watch lot many movies in English, listen to music in English, and try to repeat that. uh, TV shows, there are very great TV shows also that you can continue watching, and that is going to help also. Basically, if I to tell that I don't watch much of television, but recently Amazon Prime and Netflix, and let me tell you, just since we are talking about television, that since last, I don't remember exactly, but at least 3 4 years at least, there is no television in our house. There is a television set, but there is no television or that connection. There is a reason for that, because the news and everything that we watch on television is what I believe is distracting, and that's why I don't watch news on television. If really I want to, then I just log into through using internet, and that perhaps is the best way. So this is the second thing. Watch television shows that you like most, obviously in English. News, there are very good English news channels, and BBC perhaps is the best, so you can rely on that. uh, Listen to radio. There are BBC learning and BBC documentaries and BBC, they have a lot many different channels through which you can learn as well as you can listen in a good English. Podcast, this is my favorite, and I keep talking in all my classes that listening to podcasts really is something that will benefit in variety of ways. For example, I have been listening to this podcast. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll try to show you. that which podcast I'm talking about, because I want you people to be to benefit from what I already I am doing. So yeah, here it is. I don't know whether you can see, but this is the podcast I would like to show you. I don't know whether you can see this. Is it mirrored or can you see it? Just let me know. Okay, I'll tell you if it is mirrored. English speeches learn English. That is the podcast, and to tell you, the only to give that exact idea. I don't know whether you can exactly see, but let me tell you some of the podcasts that are here. Steve Jobs, Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish, that is one speech. Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. And those who are in first year BSc in Shivaji University, this text is prescribed in your syllabus. Emma Watson's speech, then Barack Obama, Shashi Tharoor, Michelle Obama, and there are a lot many, Malala Yusuf, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Denzel Washington, and lot many. All the English speeches are in this podcast, and you can see this green line, and that actually green line is that podcast is already. I already have listened that podcast. That is what this green lines suggests, and one podcast is around 1 hour, 1.5 hour, or maybe some 20 minutes also. There are speeches, and you can see that all the speeches you can see in green. That means I already have heard all the speeches, English speeches. So this is the best way, because if you get to listen to many great personalities, and if I get to learn something about the business, maybe Jeff Bezos of Amazon is the best source to learn how to build a business, because Jeff Bezos, who is the wealthiest person in the world, started his business in garage at home. So it's not only about language learning. What I get to learn from this is that how he started his business. So how as a person, how as an institute I can grow, I can learn from that also. Stay hungry, stay foolish, Steve Jobs, and that speech will also inspire you. So it's not only about listening speeches so that your language gets better. It's also about bettering yourself. And as Warren Buffett says, and I quote him number of times because he really is my icon. That's why I keep referring to him. That as Warren Buffett says, the best investment ever is investment in yourself. So this, I believe, is the investment in yourself. So listen to podcasts, such kind of podcasts, and if you really want to know what kind of other podcasts do I recommend to you people, because it's not possible to talk about everything in this video only. So I'll be speaking about it maybe sometime later, or I believe that most of you are connected with me on Instagram or Facebook, through Facebook, and you also have my number. You can get my number through my website, and just go on the contact page on the website, and you will get all the details, and that, I believe, will keep us connected. Uh, so listen to podcast, and if you really want to know what are the other podcasts that I would like to recommend to you people, ask me through Instagram or Facebook, or just email me, and I will answer all your questions. Or at the end of this session we are going to do that. So I'll take all your questions, and I'll try to give answers to all your questions to that also. Okay. uh, the next thing is audiobooks. So I just told you that earlier I was relying, before 3 years or maybe, I was relying completely on audiobooks. So I have a very great library of audiobooks, and I keep listening to those audiobooks. Uh, okay, just a quick, because it's already 10 minutes, so just want to check whether okay. Okay, Bhausahib Kadam. So we are going to take questions a little later. So please don't ask me questions. Uh, uh, just don't ask questions right now. Maybe write it down somewhere, and at the end, I'll just take my phone and will answer all your questions. So okay, what are the podcasts? I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you. uh, Harshada, is it not clear? uh, is there any problem? Because Harshada is saying that this broadcast is not working. Yuvraj is saying broadcast link, to send broadcast link. uh, Okay, you'll get the broadcast link directly below this. Where do I send it? Okay, I copied it and maybe, okay, in the comments, check. I'll post this link if you want to share with anybody. So this is the broadcast link. Um, you can share with the people if you want to. All right, just give me a minute and we'll start again. Okay. In the comments, just I left this broadcast link. So if you want to send it to somebody, you can share it, and we'll be taking questions later on. Okay, all right. So let's come back to the audiobooks. Um, Audiobooks. The beauty of audiobooks is that you can listen to audiobooks when you are traveling. When there is also it is also convenient that most of the times when I was in Mumbai, or even today when I'm in Kolhapur, I mean, today I'm not in Kolhapur, I'm in my village, but in Kolhapur also I have seen, and especially the young people, they keep, the headphone is always in ear, and they keep listening to that. And as a teacher, I keep telling my students to read books. And to be honest, when even when I was student, my teachers used to tell me to read books. But story I always was, a keen kind of a fond of reading, and that's why I used to read lot many things. Yeah, if you want to come. But at the same time, many of my friends, they were not very much uh, into reading, and I would suggest such people. Even I was at some point very much lazy. And okay, Manusri, say hi. Just wave your hand. Very good. What are you doing? Hmm? Okay, go sit there. All right. So especially for the people who are little lazy and they don't want to carry physical copy of a book and all that, so they can do this, that just listen to audiobooks. And if you really want to know, there is this LibriVox, one of the apps, which is free of cost, which is available. There is another source of audiobooks. I would like to tell you that if you are prime member of Amazon, and if you really want to invest a little more, that is there is Amazon Audible, which is available, and you can listen to any books you want uh, through Audible. Besides that, there is this archive.org. There is this website, and through that website also you can download lot many audiobooks for free. I also have very good collection of audiobooks, and if you really want to want me to share some of them, or at least recommend some of them, how to get that or all that, uh, we'll talk about it if you have questions. And you can get connected. As I told you earlier, you can just send me a message through Instagram or maybe Facebook, or just email me. I'll answer. Okay. The next thing is listening to talks. TED Talks. I have been recommending these TED Talks to all my students all the time. And TED Talks is perhaps the best way to learn. And the tagline of TED Talks is ideas worth spreading. So it's not only about language learning. We are talking about listening as a skill and how to develop that listening skills. We are at first skill only. And TED Talks not only give you a good language or good language learning experience, but also there is a very good chance that you get to know ideas really worth sharing, and that's where this comes. That's why it's very much important that you keep listening to TED talks, and like I just told you, you can also listen to uh, English speeches or any kind of that kind of talks through YouTube or through any other media, and that is going to help you also. Okay. So the second skill that we talked about is speaking skill. Okay. So far, so good. If you really are enjoying this, let me know that you are enjoying by just pushing that thumbs up and uh, hitting that like button so that I know that you really are enjoying. Otherwise, there is no real kind of a feedback. If we were in classroom or somewhere, just looking at your face and eyes, I would know that you are enjoying it. But since this is just virtual thing, hit that like button so that I know you are enjoying this. Okay. The next thing that the next skill we are going to talk about is speaking skill, and obviously since we are talking about speaking English, spoken English and all that, the very first thing that we need to keep, you know, if you want to learn swimming, you have to swim, otherwise you won't be able to learn swimming. If you want to learn cycling, you have to try it, and then only you will be able to do that. In the same sense, speaking is the another skill, and in the beginning I told you that any small child who learns to speak in English or speak in any language tries to utter few words, few sounds, and that is how that small child learns language. We adult, or maybe if you are, most of you I can see undergraduate students, and if you really want to improve your English speaking, the only thing that you need to concentrate on is speaking in English, and that I believe is going to help you a lot. Okay. uh, there are other things that I would like to talk about, how you can also improve your spoken English or speaking. That's what most of the people are interested. And whenever I keep talking about communication skills and English skills and English language skills, people keep just asking me about spoken English speaking, because you might have also observed this, that most of the students, they are very good at listening. It means that if they, now for almost half an hour I am speaking in English, and I know that you all are able to understand what I am saying. But the problem is, if I ask you to speak, then there is this little problem. And I get this query number of times, and perhaps you might be having the same thing, that you understand if someone says, someone speaks, but there is a problem if someone asks you to speak. And isn't it, there is always this kind of issue. Okay, come here, come in the frame and say hi. Hi, tell about you. My name is Swaranjali Vishwanath Bidde. Okay, I'm in first standard. Huh. In Radhavashindi English Medium School. Okay, so okay, just to those who don't know, these are my daughters, Manasvi and Swaranjali. And perhaps you might be observing this, that we all three are wearing red, same red shirts. And actually they ask me to do the same each and every day. So when they are wearing gray shirt, they ask me to wear gray shirt. They are, when they are wearing, you know, black, they ask me to wear black. And that's, it's something about family and all that. All right, so you want to say something else? No. Okay, go, let me continue. Bye. So sorry for the disturbance. So basically we were talking about speaking. So you need to practice speaking, and there is this, always this kind of a problem, so that you want to speak in English, or you want to really practice speaking in English, but there is nobody. When let me tell you, when I was in college, and I keep telling this incident to all my students in almost all classes, but still, this is very much interesting. When I was in college, we had a group of friends, and we wanted to kind of speak in English or practice speaking. And one of the friends, uh, we had this kind of a rule that there would be a penalty if you don't speak in English, or if you utter any word, single word in Marathi, then there would be a kind of penalty. And what happened is that one of our friends, he stopped talking to us altogether, because he was not very much confident, and that's why he was not speaking in English. But that's, the more you speak, the more the better you becomes in speaking and all that. So that's why always keep this thing in mind, that you should be speaking, or you should be practicing more. If you really want to learn spoken English, then speaking is the only way. Speaking is going to give you the what you want. And what we can do is, nowadays, we, almost all of us, we have smartphones, and this smartphone is going to help you a lot in this entire, because if we use technology, and technology is going to really help all of us to learn any language in the world. And the simplest thing, I'm using Android phone, and the simplest thing that you can do is just press this little icon. You can see it here, Google Assistant. Or if you are using iPhone, you can ask Siri, and ask ask anything. Talk to that Google Assistant, or talk to Siri, or talk to Alexa. And that communication, that conversation is going to help you. There are also voice chats, so you can use online services like, maybe Skype. You can make use of nowadays. Today only I heard this news that, Zoom is the most popular app right now in India, and it has surpassed even TikTok and WhatsApp also. So all the people are using Zoom, and those students of mine who are there right now watching this live stream. So maybe in next week, or maybe in couple of days, we are going to try a virtual classroom, where right now in this classroom, what I can do is this: just I just live stream myself, and you are listening to me uh, sitting at your home. But there is this app, Zoom. We are talking about speaking practice, we are not diverting. And there is this app, Zoom. Just download that app, and I can see all you. I can listen to all of you, you students. And like right now, I can see, there are about 22 to 25 people right now listening to this live conversation. So at what we can do is that we can convert this kind of session into a classroom, virtual classroom, and I can see all of you people. I can listen what you are saying, and you also can listen to me. So that maybe in couple of days we are going to start, and we'll plan it ahead. If you really are interested in doing that, and what are the topics that you want us to be discussed, let me know in the comments, or maybe just leave an email, or as I told you earlier, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. Just let me know. Okay, so you can make use of voice chats. The second thing, and the simplest thing, is that if you really want to make use of the best that you have. Um, I believe that you all have smartphones right now, since you all are watching me live, that you have the smartphones. And using these smartphones, you can record your voice. Take, for example, if you read some news today, maybe in the morning, and you want to talk about that, if you want to talk about your experiences, you want to talk about anything in English, obviously, and try to record that into your smartphone, and listen to that. So right now you are listening to me, or you are listening to podcast, or you are listening to TED Talks, or you are listening to like English speeches podcast I talked about, or maybe every day you are listening to news. And after you record yourself, try to compare your speech with those speeches, and always keep this in mind, because number of times I get this question from lot many students. So how about accent? And there is this kind of, there could be a disagreement about what I'm going to say. But accent, I don't believe, is very much important for students when learning language or language skills, because if we just focus on accent, then there is a possibility that you won't be able to focus on real language learning and real language use. And let me tell you another example, such example. When I was doing my post graduation, there was my friend. I will never name him. Uh, so he used to say that we will not speak in English until and unless we speak English perfectly. And I was of the view, obviously, I'm always of the same view, that until and unless you break that language, until and unless you destroy that language, you are not going to learn a language. So, in the initial stage, in the beginning, you may be breaking the rules of language. It's all right, because until and unless you break it, so just consider like another parallel example would be, if you really want to learn cycling, you need to fall down and get injured and all that to learn that cycling. So in the same sense, if you want to learn speaking English, then break English, m- make mistakes, otherwise you won't be able to learn English at all. So that's the second thing. Record yourself, listen to that, try to improvise on your own, and that also is going to help. And as I told you earlier, if you really want to learn speaking in English, you have to speak in English. Otherwise, there won't be any use of just listening to other people and not speaking. It's not going to help you. So, in order to enhance your second language skill, that is speaking, you need to keep speaking in English. The third thing that I would like to talk about in speaking skill is vocabulary, and how we all can build vocabulary has a different kind of connotations, and there are different variety of ways through which we can improve our vocabulary. And if you haven't yet came across, let me tell you, there is another video in the same on the same channel, where it will tell you it. The title of the video roughly is that how to increase or improve your vocabulary, and watch that video. It will tell you. So I'm not going to tell everything in detail right now. Just a few important points I'll discuss, and you can watch that video later, uh, which is on this channel only. Okay. So in order to improve your vocabulary, you need to learn new words each and every day. So maybe not mugging up. I don't recommend mugging up new words, because that's perhaps the worst way of learning a language. Uh, Panyan namana. That's perhaps is the best way of learning a language. And I still remember when I was in school, when I was in high school, at that time my teachers used to tell me that, just mug up these 25 words and come tomorrow, otherwise teachers used to hit us. And I still remember those horrible days of language learning, and that I believe, being teacher of English language, and that it is the worst way of teaching any language. Don't teach your students, or don't teach anybody, don't tell anybody to mug up words. That's not the right way. The only right way is to get acquainted, get connected with the words. And let me tell you about the vocabulary. Imagine, or this is the reality. You don't even need to imagine, you just remember. Maybe you remember somebody who is not very good in school, and they, the people who are not very good in school, in education, in learning and all that, they drop out of school and they go to some kind of work, to some other state, to do some kind of work. And I have a lot many friends who left their school and they went in other states and they learned other states languages. So how did they learn those languages? uh, though they were not very good in school, and that's why they left school, they dropped out. Is only because if you get, don't make noise, if you really get into uh, to speak in that language. Okay. uh, I just need 30 seconds. By that time uh, I just need to drink water. You come here and tell them something about reading habit.
Hello, my name is Swaranjali Shadpute. Hello, my name is Swaranjali Shadpute. All I started to read once after my daddy started reading. I started reading too. I now onwards I like reading so much, and my daddy had taken me many storybooks to read. I have read all the books.
Okay. All right, all right. So I have read all the books. That was the correction. Keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So this is another way of telling you that if you really want to teach somebody how to speak in English, this was the demonstration. Perhaps I really wanted a little break, and but this is the demonstration. Just get into conversation, talk to somebody, and by just doing that, you can be able to do lot many things. So speak a lot, form a group of like-minded people. Maybe there are some people around you who are interested in speaking in English, and just talk to them, and that is going to help you. The third thing that we just started. Maybe Saranjali told you about reading, and I'm going to talk about the same thing because in language learning or language acquisition, the third skill which really matters is reading. And okay, just before we go ahead, let me check few of the comments, and then we'll go ahead. Okay, I can see that there are a lot many people. Um, Shivani, hi. Anuja, okay. Okay, all right. So let's not get into comments, and let's start the discussion. Once we finish this all, we'll take question and answers. So uh, reading is the third skill that we need to acquire, and first of all, the very important thing we need to talk about reading is that. Let me tell you first of all that when I was in school, my father, who is ex-primary teacher, I used to bring me books, lot many books from his school, and I used to read lot many books, and that is where I started, this reading, entire reading thing, and that really developed me, my personality, and lot many other things as well. I can tell you. So okay, okay, all right. So just don't make noise, and this is going on live. All right. So read books, and I keep telling in all the classes and everywhere that I really like reading, and maybe those who really want to get into reading and those who really love this kind of reading and all that, I would maybe if you want to know my recommendations about reading book, especially in English, then maybe just leave an email or drop comment or send me a message. I will tell you what are the books you should read. But couple of books I am definitely going to recommend you at this moment. The first thing that I would like to talk about reading books is that those who are Indian students, most of you, I believe that you are Indian students, and if you really want to learn reading English, the simplest thing that you can do is start reading small storybooks. Like Saranjali right now told you that I gifted her a set of 10 books, and each book has 10 stories. It means approximately 100 stories. So we all are Indians, and we are very much in love with storytelling and story listening and stories in general. And even in the pandemic, right down the entire India is locked down, and government thought about uh, restarting Ramayana and Mahabharat and those Maha stories, we can say, big stories, epics, because people in India are fond of storytelling, listening to stories, and all that. So what I did was I gifted her a set of books, and she also can read. Now she is in first standard, but she reads on her own. Sometimes if there is a bigger word or there is vocabulary problem, sometimes I help her, but most of the time she does it on her own. So that's the another thing. So start reading small books, story books that will develop a kind of interest in reading which is required, because most of the times all the teachers perhaps might be telling you that reading makes you perfect and all that, but as a student we are sometimes lazy and we don't want to listen. Or maybe if I start reading book in English, especially in the beginning or the first book, we should say, then I might feel that it's futile because it is just a waste of time. We might think in that way, and that's why we don't read books. But until and unless you keep doing that thing, you won't be perfect in doing that thing. So in the beginning, if reading is boring, keep doing that until you find it interesting. That's the only way I can tell you. You can also keep reading articles on the web, and that perhaps is the best way, because all the books are not for all the people, and we all have our own interests. So if you are interested in kind of filmmaking, or if you are interested in fashion designing, if you are interested in learning new languages, if you are interested in self help, building personality development, if you are interested in leadership, if you are interested in startup business, whatever it is in the world, culture and all that, movies, sports. So try to find out your interest first of all, and then read articles which correlate to your interest. And such kind of articles, magazines, journals are all available on internet. Visit some blogs, follow some blogs, and just for the sake of this time, I'll tell you that I have two blogs, especially for literature lovers, those who want to study literature, want to make career in literature. I have two blogs for them, and I keep updating those blogs to give information, notes, and all that. And the second, on the website also, there is also one app I would like to tell you at this point, because we are talking about reading, developing reading skill. And sorry, someone is making WhatsApp call right now, and I won't be able to pick that up because I'm right now busy. Okay. uh, Writing words and expression. Okay, the next skill that we are going to talk about is writing skill. And reading, I told you that read anything that you like, so that through reading you learn structure of a language and all that. Not many people, we are going to talk about this, but lot many student of mine, they keep asking me this question that how about grammar, what are the important books for grammar and all that. We'll talk about that also in grammar. That's the simplest way of saying it. You don't need to worry much about grammar. Just try to use a language to learn a language. That is the basic. uh, the next skill is writing skill, and if you want to develop writing skill, if you want to improve your writing skill, I get this question number of times from my students that the only practice they make about writing skill is only in during the examination in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, or 3 hours once in a semester. That's all. That's the only thing. That's the only time they write in English. But you need to do writing practice in order to improve your writing skills. I still remember, or only yesterday, coincidentally, one of my students, and from 5 6 years back, uh, she sent me this one poem, and I loved that poem. It was very much, I'm not revealing that name and the poem right now. Maybe in the April issue, the next coming issue, you will see that poem published in the Criterion, the journal which I run for last almost 11 years. And so that's how I was talking about writing skill. So she was asking me this question that I want to improve my writing skill and tell me, and that's why she sent me a poem. I liked it, and it will be in the next issue of my journal. Uh, so try to learn words and expressions, or try to write down words and expressions. That is the first thing you need to do to improve your writing skills. Because most of the times what we do is that while speaking we speak very plain, and we don't include expressions which are native English expressions. That's what we call it. But we don't need to go into that detail so early. But you need to do that. Uh, there is another way of doing this writing, developing writing skill, is that ask uh, questions in comments. Not now, but if you read an article on online magazine, and if you have some views of your own, you can just add their comment, and somebody will tell you that this is not right or wrong or something like that. There is another way when you are speaking or you are chatting with your friends on WhatsApp, or maybe your teachers at least. So don't use Marathi as a language for the communication messages. At least at that point of time, write in English, so that this is writing is writing. And obviously, like, I keep telling this in many of the seminars where I go, and almost in all the classes, that David Crystal, linguist, uh, perhaps the most famous linguist who is alive right now, David Crystal, he says that because of the coming of social media, the language is changing, and the people see this language change from two things. One is that people think that the language is getting polluted, language is getting diluted, language is not pure anymore, because people are using these abbreviations, shortcuts, and all that. So what happened to the real grammar, real language, and real words and real vocabularies? So people cry about these things, and to some extent they are right. That when we SMS somebody, when you send message to somebody, we distort language, we don't use language in its proper form. That's true, that's real. But at the same time, as a linguist, as someone who is interested in English language, we should be interested in such phenomenon, because this technology or technological age has Twitter, or maybe in WhatsApp, or in other social medias, and that also can be helpful way of learning language, or especially writing skill. You can also write blogs, you can also write essays. um, so I told you, what those who don't know yet what is blog, and they want, if you want to learn, maybe at the end of this session ask me this question and remind me, and I'll talk about blog also, how you can develop a blog, how you can uh, keep updating. And one of my students, I don't know whether she is right now live, but she likes traveling, and she has this kind of a traveling passion. And I keep telling her to write, or for the college magazine also, I told her to write something about the traveling, because that is where her interest is. And obviously, each and everyone, we should have some kind of interest, and we should write some articles, essays, or blogs. Get it checked by your teacher, English teacher. And if you really want to come to me, and if obviously I have time, I will definitely help you people. Okay. And this last thing about how to develop your writing skill is my favorite. I keep telling this in almost all the classes, that if you really want to develop your writing skill, you need to write. And what you need to write is daily diary, or diary writing, or journal writing. That's what many people call it. Journal writing is perhaps the best way of learning a writing skill or improving writing skill. If you write diary daily, every day, so what to write in diary, that also is the question that I get number of times. And diary should be like a journal, so journey of your life. Diary should not be like I woke up at 5 a.m. and brushed my teeth and all that. Don't write such kind of things in your diary. Write something which really matters in your life. Maybe after 20 years, after 30 years, you'd like to read to that those pages. Write something like this. Maybe you something you liked about something. You have opinion. We all are human beings, and we all have opinions about something. So write about your opinion. Write what you feel about something, and that perhaps is going to help you to improve your writing skills. So write diary daily, every day, about anything that you like or anything that you hate or anything about which you have some kind of opinion. Write down that in diary. That is the best way, because writing skill is all about what you is in your head, and can you express what is in your head, in your heart, in your mind on paper. So that's all about writing skill. You need to express your thoughts, you need to express your feelings, emotions, whatever it is in your brain on paper. That is writing skill that can be developed. There is this best tool which is called diary writing, and I believe that you all should start doing that. Okay, so we talked about these four skills: uh, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These are the basically four skills of language learning. But there are other things that I would like to talk about. There are other pointers I wanted to talk about, and that is practice. I told you earlier also that you need to keep practicing. So each and every day, at least for 15 minutes, up at least for 30 minutes, practice all these four skills. Listen in English for some point, for some time, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. After listening, okay, if you want to welcome in, say hi again, tell your name. What are you doing? Okay, I'll finish in short time and we'll play. Okay, okay, go sit there. Yeah, sweet distractions, that is what I should call it. Okay, uh, practice, keep practicing, at least for few moments. I mean, for 10 minutes, just give 10 minutes for doing this thing, like uh, listen something good for 10 minutes. Try to speak, or at least try to record your voice for 10 minutes maybe, or something like that. And try to read something every day. uh, okay, just I'm coming back again on your comments. Just let me know that everything is going on well through the comments. Um this is just to know that everything is going on well. uh, uh, yeah, just leave a comment that everything is going on well. Time and again I'm just checking, because I get this, Gajanan is saying it's buffering. Is there any issue with streaming? Jay Chavan, hello, how are you? Okay, is there any problem or anything? Just let me know if there is a problem. Now, okay, all right, all right. Uh, okay, let's go ahead. Um, okay, Muskan, everything is working fine. All right. So let's go ahead. Practice. I just told you that you need to practice a lot, and okay, Saki. All right. So practice a lot each and every day. Practice these four skills for 10 minutes each. Listen something good in English. Try to speak in English for at least 10 minutes. So I'm talking about at least 10 minutes. The minimum I'm talking about. Try to read something at least for half an hour. That would be enough if you are starting right now. Uh, write something, write diary, and that is going to help you a lot. So that's the first point, practice. The second point I would like to tell you, which is very much kind of interesting, and that is think in English. Uh, what we do most of the times when I ask this question or any kind of questions in school to my students, they process information in English, sorry, in Marathi. Then they translate that information or answer into English, and they try to speak English. So what happens when you are doing this, you are struggling with the language, is that first of all, if I ask you some question in English, you think in Marathi, or in you think in your own first language, mother tongue. So your energy, your concentration is some, at least some part of it is wasted in thinking in your regional language, right? Some part of your brain is utilized in translating that into English and finding appropriate word or vocabulary in English. That's the second thing, second problem, perhaps I would say. Then what you do is you try to speak that, you try to say that, or you try to write that, and again you struggle for expressing, writing, speaking, pronunciation, and communicating, and words and vocabularies and all that. So there are these three barriers when you communicate in English. There is this only one solution which will give you problem to all these solutions, that you need to think in English. So is it possible? Yes, definitely it is possible. Now maybe after we complete this entire session tonight, before going to bed, you can do this kind of exercise, that close your eyes, not for 3 minutes, for Anjali, right? Okay, let me tell you why I told you this joke. And Swaranjali, come here. Tell everyone what happened about 3 minutes closing your eyes. Huh.
First of all, I don't want to sleep in the evening.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, that
Huh.
time,
She
daddy,
is, she is very
daddy
much.
just called me that day and
Okay.
tell me 10 minutes, close your eyes and don't sleep. Just close your eyes 10 minutes. I closed my eyes and I was fell asleep. And daddy called me. Daddy said 10 minutes are over. You can go. Then I sleep.
Okay. The thing is that, since last 4 days this is happening, and this is interesting. Let me tell you. Uh, Saranjali is like, she wants to stay all the time awake, especially in the afternoon. She doesn't want to sleep. And what I did on first day is I asked her to just close her eyes and lie down on a bed and don't sleep. After 10 minutes, you can go, and I will never ask you to sleep in the afternoon. So she closed her eyes and she fell asleep, obviously. And that was very much obvious. So another day, when another day came, and she now was very much reluctant. I won't sleep for, I will not close my eyes for 10 minutes. So I told her, okay, today just close your eyes for 5 minutes. And she agreed, and she closed her eyes for 5 minutes and she fell asleep. Second day. Third day, I asked her to close her eyes because she was reluctant. She was not ready to close her eyes for 5 minutes. So I told her to close her eyes for 3 minutes. And she closed her eyes on lying on bed for just 3 minutes. And within 3 minutes, she fell asleep. Yesterday, I'm talking about. Even today, the same thing happened. Now she came to me and said, okay, I will close my eyes only for 2 minutes. And I said, okay. She came, she closed her eyes for 2 minutes and she fell asleep. Even today, that happened. Okay, maybe those who are parents who are listening to this is very good trick. If your kids are not sleeping in the afternoon or whenever you want, you can do that. Just you need to be little smart and you can do anything, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay, go play. Uh, All right. So what I was talking about is thinking in English. It's really possible. You can do that. You can start thinking in English, and uh, that definitely will help you. Like I just told you one example, that is it possible to do something? Uh, okay. Good. All right. So those who are listening to this incident and those who miss and join right now, maybe should go back and listen to this real incident. This really is helpful and funny also. Okay, so start think. maybe close your eyes, and that's where this all started. Maybe in the evening before going to bed, just close your eyes and don't fall asleep like Swaranjali, and just just do one thing. Start imagining your responses to certain questions. Start thinking in English. This is all about habit. And if you really want to know how to form habit, on this channel only there is another video which is uploaded, how to form good habits and how to form habits, and you can watch to that video, and I'm sure you will love it. That's very great video. Many of the people have responded to that this way. That's why I'm telling you. Okay, so try to think in English, and if there is difficulty in thinking in English, let me know through Instagram. Most of us are connected, or Facebook. You can write me an email or just send me WhatsApp message. I will answer. Okay. The next thing is retell a story in English. So next point I would like to talk about is we all. I just told you that we all are story lovers. We Indians are storytellers and story listeners, or stories transmitted from one generation to another generation. From our grandmother we keep listening to story, and when we turn old we keep telling story. But let me tell you, I might have told you this in some of the classrooms, but each and every day our day ends only after telling a story. Swaranjali and Manasvi, I keep telling them stories each and every day. Not a single day is missed. And even we have invented some this kind of episodes. Swaranjali, you want to tell about episode? How are they? Okay, this is another trick. Maybe I would like to tell you that because telling one story every night, every day before going to bed is really difficult thing. And Manasvi is very much. Manasvi, come here. How many? Come here. Just tell this. How many stories do you want to listen every day? 5 stories. And okay, go play. So what happens is that I want to tell them one story every night before going to bed, but then they keep insisting, tell one more, tell one more, tell one more, and it goes up to 4 5 stories before going to bed every day. So what we did is that I started doing this in initial stage. I started inventing stories. So just tell me what kind of story you want to listen to, and they will say that I want to listen to story of lion and jackal or something like that, and I would create some kind of story and tell them. So what happened is that maybe those who want to be writers in future should listen to this. That what happened is that now Swaranjali can create stories and tell. I don't know how, whether they are very good or something like that. Even Swaranjali and Manasvi both, just tell them characters and they will create a story, interesting story, and that is a creative process that gets developed. So you can also do the same thing. So retelling a story in English is the thing that I would like to recommend. So if you watch movies and tell stories to your friends, try to tell that in English, and that is going to help you. So that also is one of the best ways how you can learn English. Okay. Okay. There are some other points that I would like to talk about. There are very few points now. Maybe after 15 minutes, we'll be finishing this all thing. Uh, Use mirror when you are speaking, or if you want to speak, or if you want to boost your confidence, try to speak in front of mirror. Try to record your own speech through mobile video, or just speak in front of a mirror. That will give you confidence. That will, otherwise we feel number of times we feel awkward speaking in English, and that awkwardness will go away if you speak in front of um mirror. The next tip that I would like to tell you is listen and repeat. This is very much important technique. Just listen to good English and try to repeat those words. So maybe a conversation, like if you are in a shop and if you are talking to shopkeeper, if you are in bank, and if you are talking to banker, at that time what kind of vocabulary words are usually used. Just listen to such kind of conversations and repeat that. It will help you. Read out loud is one of the best things if you really want to improve your accent or improve your spoken English, because the sounds and articulations that are in Marathi or any other Indian language is completely different than in English. So reading out loud will definitely help you in improving your English language skill. Speak English at home, and I just gave you this example. Whenever I speak to Soranjali and even Manaswi also, she is just 3.5 year old, but still we people keep speaking in English number of times about number of topics, and that really is going to help you. If you don't have anybody to speak to in at your home, then you can also do this one thing, that you start to speak with your friends also. uh, uh, okay, there are last two things only that I would like to talk, and then I will take your questions. Know why it is difficult. It's very much important for you people to know why it is very much difficult to learn English, speak English, write English. And once we find out the problem, there is possibility that we can find out a solution as well. So first of all, try to, like, just WOT analysis, and that would definitely help you. Try to understand why you find English a difficult language, and that will help you to highlight particular problem. And if you know the problem, obviously you will know the answer as well. Okay, and the last tip. Yes, I'm going to end this all with this last tip, which is very much important, I believe, and that is to find a mentor. Find anybody who is good in English, and always be in touch with such a person, because number of times it happens that we have problem in speaking or writing or listening or any of the skills of English language or any language for that matter. If you have a mentor, maybe a teacher, maybe you can ask me these questions anytime. You can see me as a mentor, or anybody else, your teachers or your big brother, sister, anybody. So having mentor is very much important, because let me tell you that whenever you find difficulty, most of the times what happens is that we find a difficulty in something, and then we just get rid of that, we just give up. But if you have a mentor, that mentor will help you in overcoming those problems. So always try to find a mentor. And as far as me is concerned, I told you number of times earlier also, we all are connected through, or maybe most of us are connected through WhatsApp, or maybe Instagram, Twitter. All my Twitter handles, all my handles are just Vishwanath Bite. So if you want to stay connected on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, just username is Vishwanath Bite, Vishwanathbite. Get connected, and you can ask me questions. Now, all the things that I wanted to talk about, I declare that it's finished now. And now you can ask your questions right now. I'll be taking your questions, and I'll be answering all the questions. Okay, so power nap, yeah, it's very much helpful. Okay, uh, now I'm Kaka. Thank you, Sopan Kaka. Supriya, helpful and refreshing. Thank you, Supriya. Swara's afternoon power nap is really helpful. So enjoy it. Yeah, obviously, this is for everyone, and you will find it very much interesting. Yeah. Okay. If you have questions or anything, Kiran, thank you very much. Uh, so please let me know if you have questions, so that I can answer your questions, and then, as I promised, I will take your questions at the end of the session. So whatever I wanted to tell, it's almost over. uh, it's not like that, all the things are completely what I said is the only thing. It's not. There are a lot many other things as well, and you can definitely explore. We will be talking about it as well later. Just let me skip through all the earlier things. Okay. Yuvraj was asking, sir, send broadcast link. Uh, I shared that link, so there is no question. Which of app for the audiobooks? I told you that Yuvraj was asking which apps for audiobooks, and let me tell you, LibriVox is perhaps the best app, and there are audiobooks. There is this app. These are the free apps I'm telling you. You don't need to pay anything. Just download those apps and enjoy audiobooks. There are paid versions also, or the paid apps also, but I'm not recommending that at this point of time to you people. Maybe if you are very much interested, let me know. I'll tell you. Okay, Yuvraj was also asking, sir, which books read necessary? What's your suggestions? Okay, for reading books, I suggested that you should read Power of Subconscious Mind. Is my favorite, all-time favorite. There is As a Man Thinketh, a small book which is also very much powerful, because whenever I recommend you these books, I want to see that these books are very much helpful for you to build your own personality, your own way of living life, as well as English language. So Gulliver's Travels is a story. Jonathan Swift, you love it. There is Untouchable by Maltraj Anand from Indian Stories. Read any of the Chetan Bhagat's books if you want to read. These are some of the recommendations. And okay, okay. Now questions are coming. Jay, how to update knowledge of language and literature? Suggest some websites to update knowledge. Very good question, Jay. Now there is this always issue. I told you a while ago when I was talking about listening as well as on reading, that it's not only about uh, it's not only about improving your language. It also is all about improving your knowledge. So that's what I told you, that listen to English speeches. At the same time, when you listen to those speeches, you will get information, you will get knowledge. TED Talks is another way of doing the same thing. There are a lot many other websites, or live sessions like this. And if you really you people are interested, we'll be doing this again, time and again. I like to do that, because whenever I have spare time, I that's what I believe, that I like teaching, and that's why I'm here. Perhaps I also like technology. That's why I'm teaching using technology. Okay. So there are websites, and there are a lot many other things that you can find on online, and it's very much easy to find all those things. Uh, so start with TED Talks, start with podcasts, start with audiobooks, and keep reading. At least Wikipedia or Spark Notes if you want to improve your knowledge as well as English language. Kiran, sir, keep it up. It's very essential to know learners. Good job. Thank you, Kiran. Supriya says, thank you, sir. Most welcome. Uh, Gajanan, Gaju, excellent. Keep motivating. Thank you. Uh, Sakhi, while writing or speaking, there are so many styles like British, American, etc. But which is classic? Means, can we use both of them at a time? Very good question. And number of times I get this question, that whether to prefer British English or American English. But as far as me, I have heard this thing number of times when I was doing my PhD. My research supervisor or many other people told me, and even your teachers would recommend you the same thing, that you need to focus on British English than American English. Uh, but nowadays, what I believe is that it's this is my personal uh, the personal thing is that uh, nowadays we all use technology, and whenever we try to install even smartphone, the first thing which is asked is that what is your preferred language, and English US is the option. Microsoft Word, which we use, is American. And okay, even the other things also, like all the softwares that we are right now using, even I mentioned about Zoom, so video conferencing app, that is also American. So American English is going to dominate. And the most important thing about all this is the David Crystal says that the coming era would be of Indian English variety. So don't worry, Sakhi, about British English or American English. Just try to develop your own language. In a sense, what I'm trying to say is that follow the rule of grammars of a language, English language, but we should not worry very much about American or British English. Right now, all the people in the world, uh, they believe, at least the linguists believe, that the coming era is of Indian variety of English language. So that's going to be very much your answer. Gayatri Mane is asking, what is blog? Okay, Gayatri, it is blog, BLOG. And if you remember, through Classroom, I shared my blog to you people, which was www.vishwanathbite.wordpress.com. And on that blog, I keep updating notes and anything that you need to know being student of English literature, you will find on my blog. So it's blog. Maybe some other time we will do this kind of a session, how to create a blog. Even as a student you can create a blog, because coming age is of a technology, and if the earlier you get acquainted with all these technologies and things, that is going to help you people a lot. So just don't wait for lot many years to learn these technologies and integrate those technologies in your life. Just start doing it. And so that maybe as a student, if you start updating your blog, if you start writing articles, writing poems. I told you, one of my students, she wrote a poem. She has been writing poem. I know that she has been writing for a long time, but now uh, I thought that I should publish her. And that is what I'm trying to tell you people. Try to write, try to write blogs, try to write essays, articles, so that after 3 years, after 4 years, after 5 years, if you want to pursue your career using English as a language, by that time you will be perfect. So don't wait for your graduation to be completed, your post graduation to be completed. Start now. You will definitely make mistakes now, so that you will attain that perfection as soon as possible. So if you want to create blogs, create as early as possible, and write post on your blogs, whatever you like. Okay, the next question I'm waiting for. Okay, Harish, interesting, thank you, Harish. And Bhausaib Kadam, I hope Bhausaib I answered all your questions. Also Yuvraj, uh, Diksha Mane, hi. Sakhi, I hope that I answered your questions as well. Okay, anything else you people want to ask me? Uh, this is the time. If you want to ask me anything, this perhaps is the best time. By that time, what I'll do is I'll just show you around, because in the beginning I told you that I will show you the premise. Uh, if you we all are connected, I don't know whether we all are connected on it or not, but if we are connected on WhatsApp, then you might have seen this premise on my WhatsApp status. I'm on a terrace of my home, and I'll show this garden and the home and everything. You can see this is the entrance. Okay, and there is this garden which starts from the entrance itself, and here. So there are a lot many trees around the home, and you can see almost 30 feet from the home wall. You will see that almost everywhere there are only trees. So this is the backside of now sun is already set. That's why you may not be able to see that. But and this is the another side of my home. I'll show you. This laptop is heavy. Okay. Okay. So this is the back side, another side, and you can see there is this wow. You might have seen this peacock the other day, and this is how it is. I really enjoy staying here. This is completely a jungle, and whenever I find time, I always come here. Okay, that was a little tour, but this laptop is so heavy. That's why it was difficult to carry it around. It's almost 3.5 kg. This is what happens when you carry gaming laptop in single hand. Okay. Now your questions. I'll come back to your questions again if you have any. Obviously. Okay. All right. Uh, Jay, thank you. Gajanan, thank you. कोरोना गेल्यावर ये घरी. Sakhi, beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. Uh, Maybe at some point of time, you all are welcome. Right now, it's not perhaps the okay. Harsh, is there a problem with audio? Harish, is there a problem with audio? Okay, so maybe I'll keep posting this kind of things time and again. Uh, so if I consider this that there are no problems, no more questions to ask. Okay, there is no problem. I believe you are able to listen to me, right? Okay, okay, good. All right. So while we are almost at the end of this entire session, and okay, at the end, I would like to tell you people that about speaking in English or communication in English and all that. I keep this queries number of times. That's why this last punch I would like to tell you about. Uh, if you people right now, I can see that there are 23 to 25 people fluctuating, couple 2 3 here and there, but around 23 people are right now live. If you people are interested, we can do this one thing. All of you just get my number from my website, and most of you already have my number, and send me this one text message on WhatsApp that you want to join video class or live class. Uh, just say you want to join video class so that I can see you people and you also can see me. So that I will create this link on Zoom app. What you need to do is that you need to download Zoom app on your Android phone or iPhone, whatever it is. Even if you don't have that, you can use any of the browser. You can also use that also. So just drop me a message that you want to join video class. Through that class, if you have any of the problems, I will answer that. We'll have a kind of a chat, and so that could be a kind of virtual meeting we can have. So I suppose that there are no more issues, there are no more questions and problems. And if that is so, then I will end my live stream here. But before I go, let me, yes, Zoom app. Just download it, Yuvraj, and just leave me WhatsApp message that you want to join that Zoom conference, and ZOOM Zoom. I will share ID, and if you download that Zoom app, log in with your credentials, and then I will share you that one code. If you enter that code at some point, we will be able to come online together, and we will be able to see each other. We can also interact with each other through that Zoom app. Okay. There is another thing. This is the last thing that I would like to talk about. Is I want to thank all of you for staying with me 1.5 hours to listen all these things that I had to offer. And this really was a wonderful experience. And those who are my students might attest to it, that whenever I'm in college, in class, anywhere, usually I don't care about the time. I just keep going and going. Most of the time, students had to, they need to tell me that, sir, it's time for another lecture or something like that. So I'm once again thankful to all of you. I'm really happy. I really appreciate your staying here. And as I keep telling earlier, also in all the sessions, that uh, I'm doing all this for you people. This is free, and this will always be free. So thank you once again for being with me all this time. And hopefully, I will announce. Just drop me a message on WhatsApp, and I will announce another live session soon. So we'll meet again virtually, and hopefully next time we'll meet on Zoom, so that I can get to see you, and I can get to see your surroundings and your home and all that stuff also. So thank you once again. I'm closing right now. Uh, Let me type it also, because I didn't type any of the comments in through that. Okay, all right. So that was just a little comment, and now I'll end this live stream. And keep in mind, all the chats, all the comments that we can see right now here are no more visible after we close this. If you all are not yet subscribed to this channel, subscribe. Why I'm telling you this? Subscription is free of cost. The only reason I'm telling you is that whenever I come live, or I'm doing these live sessions, or when I'm uploading any kind of video, so that you will get notified. That's why subscribe to this channel. Also tell your friends or anybody who you care about to subscribe to this channel, so that sharing is always caring. And that's why subscribe to this channel. Also, if you haven't yet hit that like button, let me know that you like this entire session. And do check out other videos as well. If I'm not around, you will definitely love that. So thank you very much, and I'm ending this right now. Thank you very much once again for being with me. See you tomorrow.